talk about factoring lots of types of equations. So who can give me an example of the FOIL? What did FOIL stand for?
First, outside, inside, last.
First, outer, inner, last. So what we're doing is trying to take it back to a place where we could FOIL. So we're taking a long expression and factoring it. Example A on page 101 is negative x squared plus 11x minus 24.
Sorry, what page are we?
We're on page 101.
Factoring trinomials?
Factoring trinomials. My leading coefficient is a negative 1. Whenever that's the case, it's always easiest to pull a negative 1 out first. Just get rid of it. So if I rewrite this with the negative 1 pulled out, how do I rewrite it? Right, I'm distributing in reverse.
X1 minus 11
Minus 11x plus 24. Okay. That's just my little hint for the day. If you can pull a negative 1 out, do it every time. It makes it so much easier. Okay. What I want to do now is figure out how to take it back to these double brackets. So I need to do first, outer, inner, last. Something times something will take me back to x squared. What does it need to be?
X.
An x times x, right? So there's my first terms. X times x takes me back to x squared. And then factors of 24. What are some factors of 24? 6 and 4. What are some other factors of 24? 12 and 2.
3 and 8.
3 and 8.
Wow.
1 and 24. Which of those combinations is going to get me to 11?
3 and 8.
3 and 8. So let's start with that. If I have a 3 here and an 8 here, so 3 times 8 is 24. So there's my last. So I've got my first and my last figured out. Now somehow I need to make my outer and my inner make negative 11x.
Both of them negatives.
So if they're both negatives,
X times x equals x squared. X times 8 equals negative 8.
so x times x, x squared. There's first.
And x times
Negative 3x, negative 8x, positive 24. All right, then my middle terms combine. What have I got?
x squared minus 11x plus 24.
X squared minus 11x plus 24, which is what I was trying to get to. Okay. So this would be my answer. Negative 1 outside the brackets, x minus 3 times x minus 8. The trial and error part comes in when you have to decide which of the sets of factors you're going to use. Somehow they have to make your middle number work. That's where the tricky part comes in on these. So example B is x squared minus 10 minus 3x. The first thing I need to do is put them in the correct order. How should I rewrite it?
X squared minus 3 minus 10.
X squared minus 3x minus 10. So draw in your brackets. What times what is going to get me to x squared?
X.
X? Okay, factors of 10.
2, 5.
1 and 10, 2 and 5. Which one is most likely to get me a 3?
2 and 5.
2 and 5. Okay, so 2 and a 5. Positive or negative? How do I decide? Okay, I need one to be positive and one to be negative.
The 2 needs to be negative and the 5 needs to be positive.
Actually, the other way around because it's a negative.
Okay, that's it. This is a negative 3, so my bigger number
Oh,
needs
you're
to be
right.
the negative. Okay. Then you can always check your work. X times x, x squared minus 5x plus 2x minus 10. Then combine your like terms, x squared minus 3x minus 10. So this would be the answer. X plus 2 times x minus 5. Okay, let's do some more examples. (14a) on page 106 is negative m squared plus 13m minus 42. Okay, my leading coefficient is -1. What should I do?
Pull it out.
Okay, pull that out. That's the first thing. Then I need to rewrite my equation. M squared minus 13m plus 12. I have a negative
Plus
1.
12.
Oh, sorry, 42. Then write your second set of brackets. So what times what gives me m squared? M times m. And then factors of 42.
2.
6 and 7.
2 and 21. 6 and 7. What else?
1 and 42.
1 and 42.
Got it.
So which is most likely to get me a 13?
6 and 7.
6 and 7? 6 and 7. Positive or negative?
Both negative.
How did you decide?
Because negative 6 times negative 7 would be positive 42, and negative 6 plus negative 7 is negative 13.
Okay. That's the tricky part, is figuring out where your signs go. Okay? Negative 6 and negative 7 will get me my negative 13m. But then I need my last term to be a positive.
Now, doesn't a negative and a negative make a positive?
Yes, it does.
Which is how it gets to the positive 42.
Negative 6 times negative 7 is a positive 42.
Then how do you get the negative?
M times negative 6 is negative 6m.
Negative 6m and negative 7m.
Likewise with the 7, then you just add them at the end.
I'm adding those, I'm not multiplying those. Right? So if I distribute this, I FOIL, so there's m times m, m squared, minus 7m, minus 6m, plus 42. Then I combine like terms. So m squared, 7m and 6m gives me the negative 13m plus 42. And there's a negative 1 outside it all.
Cool. Thank you.
14b x squared plus 12 plus 13x. So are those in the right order?
No.
Okay, so rewrite them first thing. I don't have a negative I need to worry about. So what times what gives me an x squared?
X.
Okay, x times x. Factors of 12.
1 and 6, 1 and 12.
1 and 12.
2 and 6, 3 and 4. Which one will get me to 13?
1 and 12.
1 and 12. Positive or negative?
Positive.
Both positive, right? So I'll have an x squared plus a 12x plus a 1x. There's my 13x plus positive 12. There's my answer.
Almost too easy.
I know. 14. C, sorry. B squared plus 10b plus 15.
You need to keep going.
No, I'm okay. Okay, what times what will give me a v squared? V times v, and then factors of 15. 1 and 15, 3 and 5. Any others?
5 and
7 and 8?
Yeah.
Oh, I know factors, never mind, sorry.
Factors. That's it, right? Those are my only sets of factors for 15. Will any of those get me to a 10? They won't. Okay. So then I would write this is prime,
Prime.
which means it's not factorable. It can't be broken down into sets of brackets. There is one on the test that's prime. (16a) is 6v squared plus v minus 35. Okay, a little bit trickier. Now I have two sets of numbers I need to factor. So factors of 6, 1 and 6,
And 2 and 3.
and 2 and 3. Factors of 35. 1 and 35,
7,
7 and 5. Any other factors? Okay. So here's my brackets. So what times what will get me a 6v squared?
3.
3v and a 2v. I can do that. What times what will get me a 35? 5 times 7. But I want to end up with how many v's in the middle?
Just 1.
Just 1. So now I need to figure out how to make that work.
1 and 35.
Will 1 and 35 get me to a 1?
Cancel out 35 and 1 times v.
We can try it.
Oh, yeah.
1 and 35. Alright. So 3v times 2v. There's my 6v squared. 3v times 35. 105v. And 1 times 2. So 2v. There's no way I can make a 1 out of a 2 and 105. So then I try another set. How should we set it up this time?
I think we got the 2 wrong numbers to begin with.
Okay.
It should be 1 and 6. I think we should be working with.
You want to try a 6v and a 1v?
Then do the 5 and 7.
5 and 7. Okay. So 6v times v. 6v squared. 6 times 7.
Okay, I like that.
42v. And a 5v and a 35. I still can't get a 1v with 42 and 5.
So is it prime?
I don't know. You
Try
never
the
know.
1 and 35 now, instead of the 5 and 7.
Try the 1 and the 35. Okay. So I'll have 6v and v.
And 1 and 35.
35 and a 1.
No, the other way.
Other way?
Yeah.
Sure?
Well, otherwise you're going to go, oh wait. No, you're right. You're right.
So I'll have 6v squared. 6v. 35v. Still, that doesn't get me back to 1.
Okay, so I lied. It is prime. There's nothing you can, no way you read to order that. If you switch the 1 and 35, then you're going 6 times 35. And you're still going to end up with an outrageous number.
Okay. Let's go back to this one. 3v and 2v. And I want to use the 5 and the 7. Is there a way that I can make a 1 if I put the 7 here and the 5 there? So 3v times 2v is
6v.
6v squared. 3v times 5, 15v. 7 times 2v, 14v. 7 times 5, 35. Can I get 1 out of that?
Yes.
Yes, how?
You got the 14 has to be a negative.
Okay, the 14 is a negative, and the 15 is a positive. Then I would have 1v left over. So where do I put my signs in to make sure I get a negative 14v?
Both of them are negative.
Negative 7 right there. Alright, so that would give me 6v squared,
Oh, you're right.
positive 15v, negative 14v, and then a negative 35.
Did you try a negative 2 as well? That didn't matter.
What do you mean?
Could you negative 2 a negative?
No. So that would be my correct answer right there. 3v minus 7 times 2v plus 5.
That was painful.
That was.
They're going to get more painful.
And why are we doing
There's 16b.
Figure that too.
For the joy of learning to factor. 20x squared plus 53x plus 18. Okay, so I need to factor again. What are the factors of 20? I have 1 and 20,
2 and 10.
2 and 10,
1 and 5.
4 and 5. Okay, factors of 18. 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. So I need to choose between these combinations. Okay. Which one do you want to start with? I need to get to 53x in the middle. Both of these are positive, which means I'm going to have positives
For everything.
for everything. So you just have to pick somewhere to start, Bart.
I don't know if you can help me or not, but it's kind of like everything's all foggy again. Anyway.
Let's
I'm
try
having-
4 and 5.
You want to start with 4 and 5?
I probably just need to go back and read. I'll just keep trying to follow.
Okay. So let's start with a 4 and a 5. So there's my 20x squared. And then factors of 18. I have these ones to choose from, but I need to get to 53. Bart.
Actually, I just asked a question. What are we doing here again? We're trying to break down this number.
It's called factoring.
We're trying to factor this number.
We take the equation and we break it down into the pieces that we would use to FOIL with.
So
We're
getting
trying to
this back-
simplify it.
Okay, so by factoring a number, you make it easier to use it for other applications?
Yes, you want to simplify it to its base pieces.
To use it in other applications easy. And so we want to factor, we're working with the 2x. What's, okay.
So we took 20x squared, we made a list of the factors of 20, and we chose 2 to start with, the 4 and the 5. Okay. So 4x times 5x will take me back to 20x squared. And then my 18, I just pick one of these sets of factors, but I want to pick the ones that are going to end me up with 53x in the middle. So let's just start with the 2 and the 9, see what happens.
Is there a way to do, is there shortcuts?
In
Well,
your head, there are.
That's where you just get good with math, good with numbers.
Good
and
with
try to-
numbers. So 9 times 4, 36x, and then 2 times 5, 10x. So did that get me to 53?
No, it's going to be 46.
Okay, that was only a 46. So then I need to try another combination.
I've actually tried it with all the combinations of 18 we have. The
Mhm.
4 and the 5 won't work.
Okay, so you want to try a different set of numbers, Bart?
Can I ask another question?
Mm-hmm.
Is this only, factoring can only happen with polynomials? It can't happen with 4 pieces?
Yes, it can. It can happen with 2, it can happen with 3, it can happen with 4, it can happen with 5.
And on through infinity?
We're going to start with 3 right now,
Okay.
and we'll keep going.
Okay, so when you do that, do you always use the 2 outside numbers and try to come up, if you have 4 numbers?
If I'm foiling, right, I'm trying to get back to a place where I can foil. So I use the first and I use the last. Those are the easiest ones to figure out right up front.
And that'll help, and then you have to manipulate those 2 end numbers to come up with the middle number.
Yes,
And so if there's 4 numbers.
we'll get to that. Don't worry.
I'm worried.
Okay, let's work on 3. So you don't want to use 4 and 5, you want to use 2 and 10? 2x and 10x. There will be my 20x squared. And then factors of 18. Should we just throw some in and see what happens? 3 and a 6. 3, 6. Okay. So 2 times 10. There's my 20x squared. I've got 6x and 60x. 1 off, huh? Because I needed a 53, so even if I had made them both negative, it wouldn't work. And an 18. Okay, let's try another set.
So in reality, there could be a whole bunch of different ways to do it. You'd have to maybe change the first one that you tried. So it could.
You'd go on forever.
There's about 9 possible
I
combinations.
know. So should we try 2 and 10 again, or you want to try one of the other ones?
Actually, there'd be more than 9 combinations, wouldn't there? Because you can do 1 and 20 against, oh wait, well 1 and 20 against all 3 on the other side, then 2 and 10 against, so that's 3, 6. Then couldn't you?
Switch them around? Yeah. There's lots of possibilities.
Yikes.
Yep.
Serious?
Yep.
So, you'd really want to be motivated to figure this out if you had a problem.
If you did.
Is there a calculator that can help you figure this out?
I'm sure there are, but you have to learn how to do it the long way, or the calculator won't do you any good. Do you want to do 2 and 10 again? Or you want to do a different combination?
I'm trying to do these in my head.
Okay, let's try 2 and 10 again. 2x and 10x. And then factors of 18. We tried the 6 and the 3 in this order. Do we want to try a different order?
Sorry, I have one more question.
Mm-hmm.
What if the number's prime? Is there a way to know that? I mean, would you have to do every combination
Pretty
possible?
much.
To make
first
sure.
to eliminate
Yeah.
that it's prime?
Yes. So. And it may be prime, I don't know. I don't have these ones all worked out yet. Well, I do somewhere, but not in the book. Is there any way we can figure this out? What's 18 times 2? 36 plus 10, 46, that doesn't get us there. And then 18 times 10 is 180, that one won't work. 9 and 2, 9 times 2 is 18, plus 20, that still doesn't work.
How are you
4
figuring
times
this out
90.
in your head? This is where I'm not able to follow.
I'm using
You're-
these factors with this combination.
Oh, okay, so you're writing down that combination, then you're foiling. Okay, so you're not totally doing it in your head. Could you not write down the 2x and 10x and just figure these out in your head? You could.
I had a lot of practice. So it doesn't look like the 2 and the 10 works in any combination either.
The 1 and 20 is.
So we try the 1 and the 20.
Did you run out of books for a week? Or?
No, I decided to go through and do all the problems in the book before I taught it. So 20 times x, the 1 and the 18, that would give me a 38x, so that won't work. And then a 49x. 66 or 123. So that one won't work either.
So that is prime.
So it looks like it might be prime.
It's a big number to be prime, but unless we're missing the factor somewhere.
We are. Okay, there it is right there. Okay, 4x, 5x. 4x and 5x. We had a 9 and a 2 here. What if we flip their position?
Yeah, we need to switch them.
Okay. So I have the 9 here and the 2 here.
So it's
So I'd have 4x times 5x,
20x squared,
20x squared, 4x times 2,
8x,
8x, and 9 times 5,
45x,
45x, and then 9 times 2,
18.
18. If they're both positive,
Then 8 plus 45 is 53.
8 plus 45 is 53. 20x squared plus 53x plus 18. That was the original problem. So then this would be my answer.
Well, that's bad. We started off with the right two numbers the very first time, just had them in the wrong spot.
Put them in the wrong order. Okay, 16C is 15z squared minus 22z minus 48. Okay, so factors of 15, 1 and 15, 3 and 5. Factors of 48. 1 and 48,
4 and 12.
2 and 24, 4 and 12. Any others we want to list up there? 3 and 16, 6 and 8. Probably good. So I want to end up with the 22z.
You said probably good. In reality, you have to come up with all of them because it might be the one you're missing.
I've got double negatives in my expression here, so
You need a negative and a positive
I
somewhere.
need a negative and a positive somehow, because my n number is a negative, and that's some combination of two numbers. So which one should we start with?
3 and 5.
3 and 5. So we'll do a 3z and a 5z. That will take me back to my 15z squared, and then 48. Which factors do we want to choose?
When you say there's a whole bunch of combinations, in reality though, to come up with that 15, well, you could you use 1 and 5 to come, yeah. Okay.
No.
You could use either one of them to come up with the original 15.
So there's 20 possibilities in what I have up there right at the moment. 2 over here, 5 over there. Each one in both combinations. So 3 and a 5, there's my 15. Let's pick one of the factors of 48.
That would get us close to 22.
Close to 22, that's where I'm aiming for, is 22. One's going to be positive, one's going to be negative though.
2 and 24.
Should we do a 2 and a 24? Okay, 2 here, 24 here. So 3z times 5z, 15z squared, 3z times 24, so 24 times 3,
72.
72z, and then 2 times 5, 10z. 72 and 10 can't get me to 22. So let's do another combination. You want to stick with the 3 and the 5? What's another set?
You did the 24 first, didn't you? That did work last time.
We can if you want. It's going to be a lot bigger number. 24
So
and 2.
It's not going to work either.
Way too big.
15z squared, and then 24 times 5. 120z. And then what's my other set? 6z. Can so 120 and a 6 get me to 22? No. Okay. Let's do another set. 3z, 5z.
Let's try the 6 and the 8 because they're really close together.
Okay, 6 and the 8. Which one and where?
Do 8 first and 6 second.
Oh, you're close. Okay.
Oh wait, that would be bad. No, we want to switch those.
It's okay. 3z times 5z, 15z squared. There's an 18z and a 40z. And a 48. So where do my signs need to go? Can I get to a 22 with a 40 and an 18?
Only if you can make that 40 a positive and the 18 a negative.
I need to end up with negative 22. So which, the bigger or the smaller number needs to be the negative?
Oh, the 40 would need to be negative.
Okay, the 40 needs to be negative and the 18 needs to be positive, right? Negative 40 plus 18.
So that would mean it's got to be a positive 6 and a minus 8.
Okay. This is the number that needs to be the negative. And this is the number that needs to be the positive. There's my answer right there.
That's a lucky guess.
So that will give me my 15z squared, my negative 22z, and my negative 48. Okay.
There's probably a little more into that. You just didn't know it.
Well, I'm
It's
just looking at all of these other numbers and going, these are going to be so far apart, and we need numbers that are going to be relatively close together with the overall answers that they can, you know, whatnot. So I was looking at, okay, 6 and 8 are the closest stinking numbers on them. Let's try those.
That's why I said give yourself a little more credit. You were a little deeper than you thought you were.
So back to page 102. Let's do some more. 11z minus 35. So same thing. Factors of 6. 1 and 6. 2 and 3. And then factors of 35. Did we already do this one?
No,
How come it feels familiar?
similar numbers.
Okay. So 6z squared. Which one of those do I want to do? The 1 and the 6 or the 2 and the 3? I need to get to 11.
Let's try the 1 and 6 first.
6 first? Okay. 6z and 1z. So there's my 6z squared, and then 35. Which one should we use? 1 and 35 or 5 and 7?
5 and 7.
5 and 7? So 5, 7. So 6z squared. 42z. And a 5z. Can I get an 11 from a 42 and a 5? No. Okay. Let's do another set. Want to do the 6 and the 1 again, or the 2 and the 3? So do the 2 and the 3. Okay. I want to get to 11.
Do the 7 and 5, but the 7 in the first bracket and 5 in the second bracket.
7 in the first bracket, and why did you do that?
Because 2 times 3 is going to give you, or not that, sorry. 7 times 3 is 21, and 2 times 5 is 10. So it's a possible combination of drop down to 11.
Very good. Okay, so 2z times 3z. There's my 6z squared. and I'll have a 10z and a 21z and a 35. Okay. So back up here, I've got negatives as both signs.
It's -7.
So if I do the
+5.
-7, that will give me a -21z. And if I have a positive here, that gives me a +10 and a -35. So then if I combine my like terms, 6z squared and then +10 and a -21, -11z minus 35, which is what we were going for.